Oh, last time we talked about Noah, and this time I'm going to talk about Moses, um, and what happened to him and why. Um, Noah, as we saw, was a man perfect in his generations, and as I said last time, that's why he was chosen, and it wasn't to destroy the world of mankind, it was to save the human genome, mankind as he was created. So, if you want more information about that, go back and listen to my previous presentation. And in this case, I'm going to talk about Moses and how God chose a people through Moses and why God chose a people. When Moses was born, he was saved by God, and he grew up as a prince, I suppose, in Egypt, and the people from Abraham were the people that God chose to bring out of Egypt and to call his people. And once they were called out, God gave them the 10 commandments, and he gave them commandments for cleanliness, commandments on how to live, commandments for practically every aspect of behavior, and they were supposed to follow this. Now, that's the Old Testament, and the reason that God did this was to create a people through whom to bring the Messiah into the world. Now, the Messiah was born a man. He was to be born a man. He was to be born in Bethlehem, of course. Everybody knows that story. But the only way he could have come into the world was through a people that had been prepared for that coming. And that's why God gave the 10 Commandments. That's why God gave all the laws of cleanliness and uncleanliness. And down through the ages, through the years, hundreds of years actually, these people were supposed to follow these laws, and they were supposed to prepare the way for a particular person to come into the world. Contrary to popular teachings, John 1:1 describes this in detail. In the beginning, which is not a parallel to the Genesis 1:1 description of creation, it was in the beginning of God's people. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word is clearly defined by John in the New Testament, 1 John 2:7, I believe, where John clearly defines logos, or the Word, as the Old Commandment. So, jumping back to John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, or was the Old Commandment. And the Old Commandment was with God. In other words, it was in accordance with God's will. It was by God himself. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In other words, the Word was spoken by God. And John is describing the beginning of God's people and the giving of the Old Commandment and the reason for it. It was to bring light into the world, or life. It wasn't, and John wasn't a witness of the Word. He was a witness of the light, and that light was an understanding of why the Old Commandment was given, and given by God Himself from Mount Sinai with His very own voice to His people at their beginning. So John 1:1 is very much misunderstood, but it goes all the way back to the time of Moses, when God chose a people through Moses and chose Moses to lead them out of Egypt and to lead them into a preparation and a style of life that would allow the coming of the Messiah. So what we have is hundreds of years of the Jews and the Israelites keeping the laws of God and maintaining a lifestyle that was uniquely their own, based on what God had given them at their beginning. So, and then all the way through the prophets, the Messiah is prophesied, and in quite a bit of detail, that the Messiah would come and be born. Man, Isaiah 9:6 says that we're given a child is born, meaning son of man, and a son is given, meaning son of God. Now, this is a very unique verse, Isaiah 9:6, because it points out the extreme degree of patriarchalism, or patriarchal, I guess, speech inherent throughout the Bible. For example, if when Isaiah 9:6 says, "And his name shall be called," it means his surname shall be called. And that phrase equates to, "and he shall be the firstborn son of." In other words, the blessing of salvation shall be passed to the firstborn son of God Himself, the Son of God. So it's the Son of the everlasting Father, the Son of Comforter. It goes through a whole bunch of descriptive terms relating to God Himself. But Isaiah 9:6 is caveated with, "and he shall be the Son of the everlasting Father," not "he shall be the everlasting Father." So what we have is a prediction of what is to come from that point on. And going into the New Testament again, we find that the Jews are keeping the Ten Commandments to the letter, even to the point of tithing their mint and cumin, which Jesus says, yeah, you should be doing that, but you also should be doing the weightier matters of the law, which they weren't, mercy and forgiveness and things like that. But into the world came the Messiah because God chose a people and chose Noah to lead those people into a specific country, to become a nation of people through which the Messiah was able to come. Because without that preparative law, without the preparation for choosing a people, the Messiah would not have been able to come into the world in any place of cleanliness, of the law, of what do you call it? The Messiah would not have been able to come and been as pure in that coming as he should, as he was supposed to be. But because the law was given through Moses, because the law was kept, even incorrectly kept, without the right intent of keeping it, it was still kept by the Jews, and that allowed Jesus to be born of a virgin and to come into the world. So that's the reason for the law, and that's the reason for the prophets, all the way up to Jesus being born. It was to prepare the way for the coming of the Messiah.